The recovery, life after heartbreak. Have you ever asked the question, how in the world am I supposed to move on from this? Perhaps this is the loss of a loved one, a spouse, a child. Perhaps the heartbreak came from a strenuous relationship, be it romantic, familiar, be it something that happened in your corporate career. Whatever has caused you heartbreak, you are in the right place, because here at The Recovery, you are going to find love, support, and you are going to recover. You're going to hear stories of those who have experienced transformation and restoration. You'll also hear stories of those who will never see either of those things. Yet, there is life after their heartbreak. If you'd like to tell your story, please click the link in the bio to apply to be on the podcast. And if you are chosen, you will hear from one of our team members. Thank you in advance for listening. And be sure to click the subscribe link so that you can subscribe and remain up to date on all of our new episodes and everything else that is The Recovery. Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast, The Recovery, Life After Heartbreak. You're here with your host, Vivian. My co-host will be back with us next week. But this week we are talking about how to recover once you're triggered. So this past Sunday was Mother's Day. And as we have learned, and we all know, some of us may know, some may not, because your Mother's Day may always have been wonderful for you. But people are always in different stages, right? So we can look and say Mother's Day is something to celebrate because we're celebrating birth, a woman who gave birth, who adopted, who did great in raising her children, who built strong self-esteem and self-worth in them and all of those things. But then there's also the cases where people are triggered by a day like this. Maybe for some you were triggered because it reminds you that you lost a child. I specifically think of a young lady who lost her son. I met her through Instagram, and it was honestly during a time, we connected on Instagram, and then her son was murdered. I know someone who lost their child, who their baby drowned. And so having to process Mother's Day is very difficult for them. So there are different stages and different ways in which people are affected by things. So with that being said, we're going to address triggers. Sometimes we know what our triggers are, what the things are that cause us to replay the heartbreak again, over and over and over again. For some people, this Mother's Day was different for them because maybe they expected to be triggered in a different way, and maybe they were not. But we want to talk about how to recover from that and what the key things are that can help you. We know what our triggers are. We know what the things are that cause us to feel angry, to feel frustrated, to replay what has taken place in our lives, the hardships. And so we not only want to know them, but we want to be strategic in how we address them. We cannot control when something can happen that could trigger us. But what we can do is put in place strategies that will help us when those things that would trigger us pop up, that we respond appropriately. When you feel yourself feeling triggered, whether it's an emotional trigger, maybe your body responds in a certain way, then note that you know exactly what those things are. Write it down. When I say note it, I mean write it down. Write down, I am triggered to remember this time or remember this trauma when these particular things happen. Now, it doesn't mean you have to avoid those things. And maybe initially, as you're walking through the process of healing, you will stay away from those particular things. But today we want to talk about how to handle them when you have no control over staying away from them, or when you're tired of staying away from them being your response to the trigger. So first, we're going to acknowledge it. We're going to make note of it. And then we're going to think about the different thoughts that come to our mind. Once you're triggered, what's the first emotion you feel? What are your thoughts? And then once we track that, it's going to take several times of maybe walking through being triggered, but we're going to note it, literally write it down, track it. And once we've tracked those things, we want to look at, okay, are the thoughts that come to me when I'm triggered true, or are they false? Most of the time, when triggers bring about fear, the things that you fear the most don't ever happen. So we want to acknowledge and look at, say, hey, is this really likely to be true? Is it true? And then is it likely to be true? And if it is, then what is the healthiest response? Once you know what that response is, again, noting it, writing it down, letting it be something that you review continuously, maybe not an everyday thing, but maybe once a week until it's once a month. But then once you've instilled in your mind and your psyche and in your heart that this will be my response to this particular trigger, then you're not walking into a situation unprepared. You have everything that you need to be, I want to say, be successful in it, but to respond appropriately. It doesn't guarantee you will always respond appropriately, but it absolutely increases the percentage of chances that you will respond appropriately. So talk to us. Tell us what your triggers are. Tell us what are some things that you want to walk through, or even tell that you need help walking through, or share with us what your current strategies are so that we can share those with others, and also just congratulate you on having strategies in place. If strategies are something that you lack or something that you stand in need of, or boundaries, then reach out to us at mindingwhatmattersnow.com, or you can email us at info@mindingwhatmattersnow.com. We love to help you walk through this time and season of your life. Remember that being triggered by a past trauma does not make you weak. It makes you human. And our purpose is not to keep you from remembering the thing that triggered you, but to have power over it so that it does not rule over you. Well, this week's it's a short podcast because, as I stated, my co-host is out this week, but she will be back with us. Just so you guys know, she's doing an amazing job in school and doing all the amazing things that God has called her to do, and I'm super proud of her. So she will be back with us next week, and you guys will get all the giggles and the laughs and the great part of the podcast that she brings with her. But until then, you've been with your host, Vivian Bell. Thank you again for listening, or actually now watching the podcast, The Recovery Life After Heartbreak, because broken hearts still love. God bless you and have an amazing week. There is life after their heartbreak. If you'd like to tell your story, please click the link in the bio to apply to be on the podcast. And if you are chosen, you will hear from one of our team members. Thank you in advance for listening. And be sure to click the subscribe link so that you can subscribe and remain up to date on all of our new episodes and everything else that is the recovery.